everyone, KW here, and welcome back to a video. I decided to react to Matpat's video, finally, but this is not FNAF. Not FNAF. Nope. It is about Legend of Zelda. I forgot how recently, but in one of his newer shorts that he did for Game Theory, if I remember right, he talks about that Link is dead in Majora's Mask. I decided to take a deep dive into that. So I'm gonna see how many points he gets into trying to make me agree that Link is dead. Honestly, I don't think Link is dead in Majora's Mask. I have my own thought process about The Legend of Zelda. So this video came out 9 years ago. I had to skip just a little bit just because some stuff were not PG. So that's why I skipped it at 38 seconds. So I had to double check since this video was made 9 years ago. So yeah, here we go.
That's why today we're talking about the absolutely absurd physics of Zelda's hook.
But yeah, that's Majora's Mask. It's definitely one of the darkest Zelda games out there, and I love it. Anyway, I'm Peanut Butter Gamer, and I'll see you guys next.
Excuse me, Mr. Butter Gamer, you appear to be on the wrong channel.
Butter Gamer? What?
How'd that happen?
YouTube glitch.
Oh, YouTube glitch. While we're on the subject, can we talk about how videos don't reach
I know a butter.
subscribers?
Or
Take a butter.
comments requiring Google Plus. So, since you're here, you mentioned Majora's Mask?
Oh yeah, I just finished it again. It's definitely one of my favorite Zelda games. It's so dark and creepy.
I like
Right?
it.
Like, who would think that...
I actually like Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I will never play it just because I know how hard it is to beat, but I do like the storyline. I love the dark and creepiness. I think that's why also Twilight Princess is my favorite. I know there's someone who made a video about talking about how Twilight Princess is not as great as everyone seemed to say or whatever, and I'm like, people have preference over games, so it's like, if you think it's not great, okay, I think it's great.
Nintendo would
anyway.
actually release a game about Link dying.
Wait, say that again?
Well, it's just a theory.
Technically, I know this was made 9 years ago, but technically, Breath of the Wild. And then, Link in a timeline does get defeated by Ganondorf. So, just saying.
Oh, a game
Oh,
thief.
slow down there, peanut butter jelly time. Let's not jump the gun here. Have you heard about the Majora's Mask grief theory?
Well, it sounds kind of familiar, but why don't you go ahead and fill me in just in case?
Well, basically there are 5 major realms in the game, right?
Yeah, there's Clocktown, Woodfall, Snowhead, Akana Valley, and Great Bay. Not in that order.
So, each area...
Not in that order.
Wait, hold on, let me get this out of the way here. Ugh. Give us some room to breathe. As I was saying, each area in the game features some aspect of loss, right? But the way the game's NPCs handle these losses differ from one location to the next. In fact, how the characters handle their personal losses and the order in which you confront them perfectly match up with what's known as the Kubler-Ross model of grief, which basically says that when someone is confronted with death, they go through 5 very distinct emotional phases: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Okay, yeah, that. Or, there is technically a 6. Revenge. It's from Cruella, the movie. If you like the movie, cool. If you don't like the movie, that's also cool. I'm just saying a line from Cruella, so...
Dabda for
Just
short.
saying.
Link's adventure starts in Clocktown,
Revenge.
where all the people are in denial. Notice how, even though there's a moon that's going to crash into the world, killing everyone in 3 days, no one seems to care. In fact, they're planning a carnival. Take a quick peek into the mayor's office and you see Muto the carpenter calling anyone who's scared a coward, saying that the falling moon is just a groundless theory.
A game thief.
Nope, still not yet. Appreciate the enthusiasm, 2000 though, but still no. Still not yet.
Oh, and there's the Swordmaster, who even says he's gonna slice the moon into pieces. Not the most effective strategy.
A perfect example of denial, or stage 1 of the Kubler-Ross model. Then there's the
Alright, yeah, I mean, there's that. That's not a point. But that's kind of interesting to look at. The groundless theory or whatever. I mean, like, people say, there's like, oh, that's just a fairy tale or a myth or anything like that, that kind of does exist. So, that's not really a point about saying that, well, people are in denial because everyone thinks that that's just, like, in history or whatever. So, but it's interesting that you saw that, Matpat. But I'm not giving you a point for you for that, for Link's death, so...
Deku Palace in Woodfall. Here, the princess has gone missing. And how does the Deku King respond? Obviously by raging against a monkey. Man, monkey abuse just seems to be a thing around here lately. Anyway, he jumps to the conclusion that this monkey is the culprit and must die as a punishment. The thing is, the monkey's innocent. The Deku King is just angry, lashing out at anything and anyone because he doesn't know what else to do. And thus we see the second stage of grief manifested.
Yep. You mad, bro? Yes. Yes, he is. Stage 3, I got this. Snowhead features the Gorons, a tribe who just lost their leader, Darmani. When you meet his ghost, he begs Link to use his magic to bring him back to life. He's bargaining. Darmani is actively trying to make a deal to prolong his life just a little longer, thinking that Link can provide some backdoor solution to the inevitability of his death.
And when those bargains fail, you get depressed. Stage 4. This is when a person realizes that there's no escape and that there's nothing that they can do, so they instead retreat inward, disconnecting from the world. And it's at the Great Bay that Link meets Lulu, a Zora who's lost her eggs. She's a mother who's lost her children. And to cope, she just stands there, staring out into the distance, silent. And finally, Link makes his way to Icona Valley, a valley filled with death, sure, but also a place of acceptance. First, you have Sharp, one of 2 composer brothers who you help come to terms with his mistreatment of his sibling. But also, more symbolically, you have the Stone Tower Temple, which has you climbing upwards towards the heavens and obtaining enlightenment, here illustrated by the item of the dungeon being the light arrows. Link has journeyed through the Valley of Death, passed through the other 4 stages, and here he ascends into acceptance.
There's even the Goro Master, a creature that is described as emptiness cloaked in darkness. If this game is all about overcoming grief, fighting this guy is a pretty literal interpretation.
So, that doesn't really prove Link is dead still. I think that is just kind of interesting, not a coincidence, that was, an interesting thought process about this game. But, yeah, I don't think that, I don't think Link is dead.
He even commits suicide once you defeat him, an enemy who refuses to accept death on anyone's terms but his own.
And when you really stop to think about the whole repeating 3 days gameplay mechanic, that in essence is how grief can feel, like you're trapped in time and can't move forward. It paralyzes you from moving on with your life.
This grief theory does make a lot of sense, but what is Link grieving? I don't see why you'd say he's dead. The game...
Okay, the 3 days, that's just it's game over. Especially when Link dies, it's game over. Just that's just its mechanic. It's supposed to be a hardcore Blizzard or something. Oh god. I mean, I'm just if you're gonna go with that fact, then all the Legend of Zelda games, every game over you get, Link is in purgatory. He's not actually alive.
The game starts off with him roaming the Lost Woods in search of Navi, who flew away at the end of Ocarina of Time. Why anyone would bother searching for her is beyond me, but Link is a weird kid, so whatever. Wouldn't it make more sense for him to be grieving over her loss? Maybe she died, or maybe he's just sad about losing her.
Yeah, maybe. But in my mind, there's more evidence to suggest something even darker. I propose to you that throughout Majora's Mask, Link is actually in purgatory, the waiting room of the afterlife, and that the game represents his journey to accept his death and move on. First, look at the name of the place. Termina. That's not even subtle, Nintendo. Termina, like terminal, the end.
Alright. Got my phone here. Termina. Zelda. Termina is a name of a parallel world to Hyrule in the city of Majora's Mask. In Link Between Worlds, there is another parallel world to Hyrule. There are realms in Legend of Zelda. Now here's the thing, yes, beyond the world and such, and like mythology and fairy tales and such like that, is another realm. But I'm just saying.
It's a pretty big red flag. Then look at how Link finds this place. Isn't it a bit strange that Link is falling down through a tree trunk into what equates to practically a whole new country?
Hey, isn't it weird in Link Between Worlds that Link gets turned into a painting but magically comes out of the painting?
With its own astronomically themed nightmare fuel that apparently no one in Hyrule knows about. I mean, planet Earth is a really big place.
Wait! Twilight Princess. The Twilight Realm? Not a lot of people knows about the Twilight Realm! No one does! In Twilight Princess! It's...
significantly bigger than Hyrule, but whether you're in Spokane or Djibouti,
and we
you
thought the
know
Earth was
how
flat.
many moons we have. Really, I ask the question, where is...
We thought the Earth is flat. We thought we were the center of the universe.
this place supposed to be located?
Underground?
Then how was there a sky? And remember, Link supposedly fell a really long way to end up here. If that's the case though, he would have died. Granted, there's a lot of creative license in these games, don't get me wrong, but Nintendo has always taken falling very seriously in 3D Zeldas. Even the animation that happens while you fall feels a bit surreal. Like a bad LSD trip ripped straight out of Alice in Wonderland, which, spoiler alert, ends up being all a bad dream.
And now that you mention it, where did Epona go? You see them run into this tree and I guess they could just jump from one stump to the next, but does Epona also live through that huge fall? Even if she does, Skulka would have to transport her over this water, through this cave door, and over these deadly platforms, all for her to end up at Romani Ranch later in the game. And
Magic! Magic! We have magic in Legend of Zelda! Magic! Skull Kid, using the Majora's Mask, could use magic to transport that horse to somewhere else in the game. Magic.
he'd have to do that all before Link arrives so that he'd be ready to hover there all cool and Magneto-like. It does seem pretty suspicious.
Like it can't be real. Exactly. And that's also why most of the people you see throughout Termina are identical copies of the ones you
Link
met
Between
during
Worlds.
your Ocarina of Time.
This is basically Link Between Worlds in the past. Oh, I want the special more gold. Oh, Matpat. Oh, I know this is something 5 years ago, but he recently made a short saying that Link is still dead in Majora's Mask. Has he not played A Link Between Worlds? Has he not? Has he not played Twilight Princess? I keep saying Link Between Worlds because it's the sort of thing that happens in Link Between Worlds. And then in Twilight Princess, there's another realm called the Twilight Realm. I'm like, oh my god.
Time journey. Link's personal purgatory, his journey to accept his death, is populated with people he's encountered before.
He's like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
And consider the masks. The transformation masks all represent characters who have died. There's Darmani the Goron, whose ghost appears to you, Mikau the Zora guitarist, who actually dies in front of you, and although it's never actually said, the Deku mask is most likely this little sprout, the deceased.
If that's the case, where's Link's mask? If Link is dead, then Link should have a mask of his face.
He's child of the Deku Butler. Knowing that these
Where is
different
he?
transformations are Link assuming the forms of deceased characters, turn your attention to this, the Elegy of Emptiness. It's a song you get late in the game that allows you to create statue clones of your current form. In a lot of ways, they're like funeral effigies, standing there as a memorial to the dead. Now, if the only masks that allow you to create a clone using this song are the ones that are related to dead people, and Link is somehow able to create a clone of himself, that would seem to mean... What would that?
It's definitely weird. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Okay, fine. That's 1 point. All of the other points. That's definitely weird. I mean, like, Link doesn't have a mask of himself, so he shouldn't have. But he only creates statues of dead people, so, like, can he make it? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he just can't, and I don't know.
I mean, waiting on you.
And that actually makes sense in the timeline, too.
What?
Okay, we'll keep moving on then.
Well, Majora's Mask comes before Twilight Princess, according to the official Zelda timeline.
Let me double check that. I mean, it has probably changed. It probably has changed. Okay, Scarlet Sword. Okay, Ocarina of Time. Who has been defeated? Heroes Triumphant. Majora's Mask. Huh. Okay, that's one of the charts. Okay, double check that. Alright. Okay, that's right. Okay. I knew I wasn't sure on Twilight Princess where it fits. Like, honestly, I thought kind of like when the adult realm was still around, because there's, the 3 separate timelines. One where Link gets defeated, one where he goes back in time, which is this, and then one where Link gets defeated, Link goes back in time. Okay, and Link goes back in time again, but the adult world still exists. So, there's that.
Timeline, right? And in Twilight Princess, there's the hero Shade, a Stalfos-looking creature who has officially been confirmed in Hyrule Historia as the spirit of the Hero of Time, aka Link in Majora's Mask. And just in case you doubt they're one and the same, he's left-handed like Link, and most of the songs he uses come from Ocarina and Majora. Anyway, Zelda lore states that those who become lost in the woods are fated to become a Stalfos. Although I accepted life as the hero, I could not convey the lessons of that life to those who came after. At last, I have eased my regrets. So, the Hero of Time is somehow prevented from teaching others his ways. And that begs the question, why? Why would this hero who has conquered both evil and time...
Did he also say, "Do not falter, my son, when you..." Hana. He says, "Do not falter, my son," right? Or is that another game? Hana, Twilight Princess. What's this? Is it called like Secret Techniques? I forgot what they're called. Wait. Let me just. Trying to find the one where people have done the task. Jesus. Yeah. Polarology, blood puzzle. No, maybe. Ah, dang, that's the wrong video. Dang it. Come on. When does he learn the last technique? La 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 la. When does he learn the last technique? Oh my God, when did he learn the last technique? La 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 Aha! I think I found it. Alright, awesome. You're doing the great spin. Yay! Wait. Found it. What does he say? What does he say? Oh, go for it and do not falter, my child! Okay, to be honest, it could literally mean anything. It could not mean that he is basically the son of... Not the son. The father of Triumph Princess Link. It probably doesn't really mean that, but that is technically a theory out there that exists. So, like, if we went with the theory that, that is Link's dad, Ocarina of Time Link is Twilight Princess Link's dad, then Majora's Mask, Link isn't dead. If we're going with the theory of that, that's what I mean. If we went with the theory that, this guy is the Ocarina of Time Link, and Link becomes an adult to have a son that is the Twilight Princess Link, then Majora's Mask Link can't be dead. If that makes sense. If we go with that theory. Again, it could be opened up to many interpretations when he means do not falter my child. I thought it was my son, but my mistake is it's my child.
Have such profound regrets? Could it be that he died prematurely? Could it be that he died in the Lost Woods becoming Astolphos? Could it be? Probably.
It's also worth
If he became an adult, yeah, sure.
pointing out that the hero's shade saying "believe in your strength" directly mirrors what the Happy Mask salesman says to Link throughout Majora's Mask.
If he's
"Believe
an
in your
adult.
strengths. And speaking of the
Isn't
Happy
he an
Mask
adult?
salesman, he provides what I think is the strongest proof of this theory. Do you happen to remember the first line he says to you in the game?
You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?
When he says this to you at the beginning of the game, you assume he means Link being turned into
Or
a
that's what he
Deku
actually
Scrub, right?
meant.
That's just what happened, but that line actually repeats again later in the game. Every time you let the moon crash towards Earth, the animation shows the moon destroying Clock Town, Link getting consumed by fire, then you hear the Happy Mask salesman's laugh and see this line. The terrible fate isn't being turned into a scrub, it's Link dying. Why else would Nintendo choose to repeat that particular line at that particular instant?
Yeah, I got nothing. So him riding off into the fog at the end is Link accepting his fate and moving on?
That's definitely one way to interpret it.
He only has like what 1 point? I was gonna give him a second point, but
Ultimately though, dead or not, the reason this game is so incredible is that it's bigger than itself. It's symbolic of much larger and mature topics, allowing for any number of interpretations really. It's deeper, more somber, and incredibly more artistic than other entries in the series.
More like other games just in general.
Definitely. And in a lot of ways, the gamer sees what the gamer most wants to see in this sort of game. Have you suffered a loss as a child? You'll respond to those moments in the game game. Are you afraid of losing your friends and being betrayed? Then Skull Kid's story will probably speak to you. And that's what happens when you try to interpret a work of art. What you're left with is, at best, just a theory. A game.
Is this the one?
Know you can
Can
join
I
me
say
on
it this
one.
time?
Now is the
Okay, good.
Good. A game theory. And hey, we're
I think they're gonna say some other stuff to end the video, but I mean, I do agree. Like, the game is really interesting if you think about like the 5 stages, like of grief and everything like that. I'll give them credit of that. It's interesting, and yeah, you can definitely feel like feel the way the characters feel in the game and everything like that. That's what I love of video game. You can feel stuff and everything if they done it right and everything like that. So like, but the only thing I can think of is like this Link session thing is kind of weird, creepy. I'll give them that. That's a point. Link dying in the Lost Woods and becoming a Stalfos. I can see that definitely for sure. I'll give them the point for that. But in my general senses, Link isn't dead in Majora's Mask. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. Especially when Matpat made this theory again recently in a short. I don't know how long ago the short was. I'm just gonna look up the short. Just so we know how long ago this was. It was like, let's see. Was it on here though? Oh wait, this is GT Live. No, run, run, channel. Okay, shorts. Okay. FNAF stuff. Heck, what? Here's a false. Is this it? Oh no, that's Pokemon. Smash Bros. Okay, Link is dead. I found it. It doesn't say how long ago it was, so maybe I can look at the comments. People say I see people saying a month ago, so it's probably a month ago. So there we go. So he made a theory about this in a short a month ago, and then this theory was made 9 years ago. Was made 9 years ago. Wow. Okay, so I'm sorry. I don't believe this theory. Link is not dead in Majora's Mask. I'm sorry. I don't. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's reaction video. Me reacting to Matpat's old theory. And, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. KWL. Bye-bye. Link is not dead in Majora's Mask. I promise you.